Oh, she's burning up. I think we need to go to the hospital.
Oh, some vacation. I can't believe we forgot her medication. Do you think they can help us in this town?
I don't know if they can without our prescription. I guess we just have to go there and hope for the best.
Don't take chances when you travel. Make sure you remember medications, insurance information, and your identification. This project to support rural healthcare workers was made possible by a grant from the Center for Urban and Regional Affairs and was produced by the Icebox Radio Theater. Happy holidays from all of us here at the Icebox Radio Theater. This is your program director, Jeff, just coming on to let you know about our next live broadcast. That's coming up on Saturday, December the 6th, and it's a new edition of A Christmas Carol that will be coming to you live from the John Faith Little Theater in International Falls, Minnesota, along with a little bit of seasonal comedy and a recreation of a classic episode of the Coronet Little Show. That is, of course, O. Henry's Gift of the Magi. That's A Christmas Carol, coming up on Saturday, December 6th at 7 p.m. Central Time, right here on Radio Icebox. That's right. It's Radio Icebox, or it's a podcast, depending on where you're listening to it. And this is, once again, another edition of The Crisper. This is the news, information, and whatnot podcast from the Icebox Radio Theater and the Icebox of the Nation, International Falls, Minnesota. Hello to all of you watching live on Facebook. And hello to all of you listening not so live or watching not so live every place else. I am Jeff, and I'm your program director, and this is going to be Crisper number 694 every week. It gets me every week for November the 30th, 2025. Well, we got a lot of great stuff coming up, as you just heard from the spot we ran, that we have another live show coming up in less than a week, and I'll give you the rundown on Christmas Carol and everything we're going to be doing. In addition to that, we're going to talk a little bit about December and have some official announcements, so you guys will be the first to know when we'll be doing various posts upcoming. And we got letters, we got metrics, we got so much on this edition of the Crisper. But hey, let's start. My favorite feature, of course, taking a peek out at Skycam 1. Check it out, guys. That's right. International Falls, Minnesota is being itself. It was green and brown a week ago, and now it is not. Now it is indeed white. And if you can see the temperature there in the corner, 17 above currently as the sun sets in International Falls. We of course, in the U.S., this was a holiday this past week. It was Thanksgiving weekend, which is year after year one of the most heavy travel days. So the snow arrived at exactly the wrong time. It arrived like Tuesday night into Wednesday, just as everyone was getting to go. Hope if you were traveling that you got where you needed to be safely, because it was not a sure thing. And apparently it's here now. Winter is here. Recording is still going. And now I've been told my reconnection is successful. So everybody, if you're watching live on Facebook, we had internet problems, which we've been having internet problems, but thankfully that wasn't during an important time. This here is an important time. It's a letter from Ken in Hawaii that was about a week ago. And he says this: Jeff, listen to The Haunted. Nice to hear Ms. Irwin again. Yes, it was nice to have her on the show. She did a wonderful job and was very believable in the role. Everyone else did a great job. Also, thank you for a great story. And that is Ken from Hawaii, one of our most ardent supporters. Thank you so much, Ken. We do appreciate that. The other bit of information we got, as I mentioned, we will be having a live show coming up in just about a week's time, and it sounds like our good friend Craig from, I forget. he was a good friend and a supporter for years and years, but he used to be in St. Paul, and now I honestly don't remember where he's from. It's a town in Illinois, and he's told me many times. But last year he actually drove up for a live show, and he's going to do it again apparently if the weather's okay. So Craig, don't risk life and limb, because I know he's one of these maniacs that just gets in the car and goes, and it's like more than 10 hours on the road to come up to the falls. But whatever the case, we just get a brief notice from him saying, if the weather is good, I will be there for the show. We look forward to it. Let's go out for breakfast again. Looking forward to that. And of course, you can write to us if you have comments or you have travel plans you want to let us know about. We are still at Icebox Radio 51 at gmail.com. Okay, let's take a look at the metrics for this week. Twitter followers, I stayed the same at 673. Facebook followers, we gained one. It's 934. That's up one from last week. Instagram followers stayed the same at 311. We still have 63 wonderful patrons, 40 fantastic members, although I'm not sure about that. I think there may be more now. I just need to go check. Streaming radio stats kind of stayed the same or pretty consistent. Unique listeners, 631. That's down 2 from 633 last week. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to put this up for the people watching on video. I forgot to put the screen cap up. There we go. These listeners represented 71 countries. That's up 2 from the week before. And listener events of 30 seconds or less, 91.6 of the listeners were just 30 seconds or less. That's up slightly from 89.5. And how they measure countries, I don't know, because I went and looked, and we currently have a listener on the streaming station from Russia that's been on for 3 weeks straight, which I think were probably government surveillance, maybe? I don't know. Some weird thing that has maybe less to do with listening to the programming and more to do with cheating the internet somehow. But whatever the case, our provider for the internet radio station has removed Russia from the top list for the third week in a row. For the third week in a row, it hasn't changed. It's USA number 1, Germany, followed by Canada, which, great. I like all those countries. And Russia's fine for the people. The government's got some problems, but what are you going to do? Bit of a dip in podcast statistics. We have 29,745 subscribers, which is down nearly 10,000 from 38,163. I blame myself because, of course, it's been a couple of weeks since we posted anything on the podcast, and it's going to be a couple weeks more. So, what's going on in the Icebox Radio Theater? Well, we got so much stuff to talk about because it is a live show coming up this week. As I mentioned, we will be performing a Christmas Carol, and the prep has been going swimmingly, if I might say so myself. It's almost getting to the point where I'm thinking, we could do these once a week because I feel organized enough that, the month between shows that we've been taking, it almost seems too long. And I know, that's partially because I don't have a day job and everyone else does. All my cast does. So I have all day to sit around and tinker with equipment and work out various problems. So, yeah, I won't be doing that anytime soon. But it has been a very pleasant 3 weeks. We have our program set, though not necessarily the order. Of course, the Christmas Carol is about an hour-long show, just short of an hour, by maybe 15 minutes. But we will open with a short, which is a recreation of something called the Coronet Little Show. Coronet magazine. I want to say it was a young adult magazine back in the day. But in the 40s, they had a radio show because that was one of the ways publishers and magazines promoted their stories back then, is just having a radio show. And one of the most famous episodes that this group ever did was called The Gift of the Magi. Of course, that's the O. Henry story. Do I spoil it here if you've never heard it? Because that's not like Frosty the Snowman. Not everyone's heard Gift of the Magi, but it is about a very poor couple in New York City around 1905, which is when O. Henry was writing. It's interesting. I did research on him. He did time? Yeah, he did time for embezzlement. And before he did time for embezzlement, O. Henry escaped to Honduras for like 2 or 3 years and only came back because his wife was ill. Interesting life, O. Henry. I got to go find a biography of him. But I digress. The program on Saturday will be Christmas Carol, Gift of the Magi, and then we have two funny commercials. One is a promo for a series that we're not doing. We're only pretending to do, and that will be entitled Daryl the Delinquent Deer. And then the second commercial is going to be the Northland Christmas album, and that's going to require me to talk the cast into singing. And I'm hoping that because we have musical accompaniment and also because we'll all be singing together and not asking anyone to solo, that they'll be willing to do that. But the idea is familiar Christmas stories with new lyrics. Lyrics having to do with us, like we wish they would make the playoffs. We wish they would make the playoffs. We wish they would make the playoffs, but they're 4-8. If you don't know what that's about, you're not from the Northland. What else is going on? Well, I wanted to mention we are offering a online stream ticket for this. Well, actually, let me get into that in a bit. But talking about the prep for the show, the big thing I've been doing recently is I will be doing live sound effects again, quite a few of them. If you think of a Christmas Carol, well, we have the wind machine will be put to great use because we have a lot of wind, creepy wind. This is a ghost story after all. When Marley arrives, there will be rattling chains, naturally. We will have a lot of other things, door slams and footsteps and coconuts for the streams, for the what do you call them? Horses on the street of London in the Victorian age. Why do I mention all this? Well, I mention all this to promote the online ticket that is available at iceboxradio.org/live. Now, the total rundown for what we're going to be doing in terms of broadcast, the show will be available on the streaming station for free, but it will only be available in a live setting. In other words, you got to tune in at 7 o'clock on Saturday, 7 o'clock Central on Saturday to hear the show. The rest of the time, it will be available on video if you buy a $5 ticket at iceboxradio.com/live. And that will be available till December the 25th, at which point I will make it a Christmas present for everybody, and everyone will have access to the video. And I think it's going to be worth it. We got a cool cast. Who all is coming? Carice Boyer is going to be there. It's not Boyer anymore. I got to ask her what her new name is. And Justin Kapla, of course, is coming back. Tom Bement is joining us. Douglas Screef. Douglas Screef will be playing Scrooge, and he was sort of the impetus of even doing this show. I really wanted to do it with Douglas as Ebenezer Scrooge, and he agreed, and I'm so grateful. Karen Schickel will be making it once again. Both Jim and Linnea Yunt will be in the show, and I think it's Dalton Johnson, who I just talked to today. Sounds like everyone has verified that our rehearsal schedule will work, and we'll get to work on that on Wednesday. Do a couple read-throughs Wednesday and Thursday, set up at the Bacchus Little Theater on Friday, where we'll also have a run-through, and then on Saturday evening, showtime. And I really hope if you're in the neighborhood, or, if you're not in the neighborhood, look at Craig, come on down to see the show. There are pre-tickets available, but you can also pay at the door $15. Kids under 10 and under, rather, are $5. So bring the whole family to A Christmas Carol. See Douglas Screef. It's really going to be a treat. And if you can't drive all the way to the falls, again, same place, iceboxradio.org/live is where you can get your online ticket to watch either live as we perform the show or basically recreate the live experience, because we're not going to edit any of that video for quite a while. It'll just be there. What are you going to do? Oh, my goodness. What else is going on IBRT? Well, I mentioned the cast was set and the script was set and the rehearsal is set. You'll be hearing more and more about the show as we get closer. So, yeah, we're pretty much to that point where I'm like gathering up the equipment and making sure I have enough totes to cart it all over there to Bacchus. But I am very excited about this show. And I even have my sound effects equipment, all my Foley equipment set up in the basement. And I'm going through every day, at least once a day, going through a rehearsal. This has been the first time in a while that I've done this, where I've just done sound effects. I don't know that my voice will be on mic at all. In fact, I'm thinking it's a crowded enough show and the stage is small enough. I might actually be doing Foley set up in front of the stage, and the actors will have the whole stage to themselves. So we'll have to see. Whatever the case, hey, it's worth the $5. Help us out. A little bit of money to the IBRT, and you can see live radio performed as it used to be and as it is again. And that's all happening on Saturday, this coming Saturday, December the 6th, at 7 p.m. Central Time. iceboxradio.org. That is the iceboxradio.org/live. That is the address where you can get tickets. What else is going on IBRT-wise? Well, I got to tell you, Sheila Titone. Sheila's on saying hello. Hello, Sheila. Glad you caught us. Apparently, we were off the air for a little bit, so I do apologize for that. Many other things happening with the streaming radio station, and that's been kind of a hobby of mine for the last week or so. Again, I feel pretty on top of the paperwork and the prep for A Christmas Carol coming up on Saturday. So I have time to take care of some other things, like, for example, the streaming radio station hadn't been updated in a while, hadn't added any shows. So if you go back there now, there's a lot of recent shows. There's also some Nero Wolfs and Candy Matsons that we performed a long time ago that never made it into the playlist on the streaming station. You can hear The Haunted. You can hear the latest Rum Runner Sue, and that is, of course, Rum Runner Sue, Beer, Blood, and Ballots. You can hear, let's see, I'm going to put up the Winter Warlocks if I get time this week, the two from last year. But there's an awful lot going on. And also, I have flipped the switch. There's a switch you actually go into the software and flip, where now Christmas plays are reincorporated into the playlist of our streaming station. I don't play Christmas stuff all year, only in December. So you can go on and hear some of those great Christmas plays, some of our original stuff. It's a Borderland Life, the original Christmas Carol broadcast from 20 years ago now. It's our first live show ever here in Int'l Falls. In addition to that, you've got Season of the Elf, you've got A Ghost for Christmas, so much other great things. And it's just kind of relaxing, isn't it, to not have to choose what playlist you want to listen to, but tune in a streaming radio station and just enjoy. And let me say again, I'm very, very glad that we found a way to sorry, a number didn't make sense there for the broadcast thingy. We found a way to get our stream page on our website working again. I can't really take credit for it, but if you've never visited the stream page, but you should, it's one of the more popular pages on our website. You can just go there and there's what they call a widget, which is just a blue box, hit play, and boom, wait 10 seconds, you're listening to our streaming station. And recently, when we made a change with Squarespace, who hosts our website, that feature just didn't work anymore. I was given an error message, said you have to upgrade, which is weird because this all happened because I did upgrade to a higher level. And, I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure what fixed it, but I went back in the other day, had to do something else and discovered, these widgets, which I was told wouldn't work anymore, now work again. And it is very nice to get people into streaming radio by saying, look, go to the website, hit click play, and that's it. That's all it takes. Much easier than listening to streaming radio. One of the other ways where you need, Radio Garden is fun, but it's mostly fun because there's all those stations you can grab. Try out Radio Garden. It really is a lot of fun. But other than that, you need to get the TuneIn app or you need to do something else. I'm not even sure if you can do it on Apple anymore. Because that was one of the reasons that I got into streaming radio was the old iTunes had a streaming radio frame. They still might, actually, because I still have my iTunes. I never upgraded to Apple Podcasts and Music because I wanted that old tech. And it used to be they only had a limited number of stations. It was actually kind of a big deal to get listed there because they had human beings vetting everything to make sure that the signal was good and you wouldn't go off the air just because you lost interest. And I have no idea if that does it anymore, but I'm pretty sure there are no comparable streaming radio setups on YouTube or on Spotify. I know for a fact there isn't on Spotify. Spotify says they can't afford the royalties to the musicians to have streaming radio stations, which doesn't really make sense to me because normally the station pays that. Anyway, we're getting into the weeds here. Listen to our streaming radio station at iceboxradio.org/stream. Okay, let's wrap up now. Tomorrow is December 1st, and you will be able to see a graphic, that graphic we do on our Facebook page and on Instagram every month, kind of announcing what we're going to have this month. But you guys, the CRISPR listeners, I will let you know in advance what our plans for December are. And they will begin, naturally, with A Christmas Carol on the 6th of December. That's coming up next Saturday. Less than a week later, on the 5th, shorts from that show. I mentioned Gift of the Magi and the two funny commercials. Those will be available for members and patrons. We haven't done this for a while. We did this quite a bit in the Salty Jester days where we would have posts that were just on Patreon and then on our members page on our website. So I thought it might be time to do that again. So Gift of the Magi plus some funny shorts will be available just for members and patrons on the 11th. And then the following Thursday, or not the following Thursday, I guess 2 weeks out, is, of course, Christmas Day. And that is the day we will offer up that version of the Christmas Carol that we're performing this month as a podcast. So it'll give me a couple of weeks to do some editing and get it fixed up and get it ready to go. And then off it goes on the IBRT Plays podcast. I might even put it up on the streaming radio station for a couple of days either, because we'll run Christmas programming on that station. through the at least through the new year, maybe longer. Sometimes I forget to go in and change things around. So yeah, that's that. All right. So once again, big show coming up in just a few days. Hope you can join us then. If you can't join us here in the Falls, again, you can get an online ticket, watch it live video. If you can't do that or would rather not do that, it will be streamed live on the streaming radio station Saturday the 6th, 7 p.m. Douglas Grief starring as Scrooge in A Christmas Carol. Look forward to seeing you then. So until next time, this is Jeff saying thanks for the download and reminding you to keep listening. Good night, everybody.